Okay. I'm going to go ahead and start reading the script. Welcome to the Lunenburg Conservation Commission May 1st, 2024 meeting. In accordance with the requirements of the Open Meetings Law, please be advised that this meeting is being audio and video recorded. The agenda lists all of the topics which may be discussed at the meeting and those that are reasonably anticipated by the chair. Votes may be taken as a result of these discussions. Not all items listed may in fact be discussed, and other items not listed may also be brought up for discussion to the extent permitted by the Open Meeting Law. Please address all comments to the chair. That would be me. This meeting of the Conservation Commission will be held by Zoom at the meeting link provided in this notice. And for anybody joining not by Zoom, the meeting ID is 835-0835-8226. And I would encourage any callers to download the agenda and actually click on the link there, because it does make it a lot easier. And we will go to a roll call vote. Let me admit somebody here. Not a roll call vote, just a roll call. Chris St. Germain.
Here.
Mike LaRouche.
Present.
Jeff Viviano.
Present.
Rich Bursch. Do not see him in the lineup. Jenny Putherer. Bob Pease, I do not yet see him in the lineup. Very good. So we are officially calling this meeting to order. We will start out with public comments. Do we have any comments from members of the commission? And if not, we also have time here for public comment. These comments would be limited to 3 minutes on a subject matter that is under the direct jurisdiction of the commission. Comments about current agenda items are to be made during the comment period of the specific agenda item. And please address all comments to the chair. Do we have any commentary from members of the public? And just as a reminder to everyone that the meeting protocol, we will go through the meeting roughly in the order that we have it here in the agenda. I will call on the applicants first. Commissioners will make comments, and then I will call on members of the public last. And again, all commentary is to be addressed to me, the chair. And we will proceed with that fashion. There are in the Zoom, in your Zoom window, there are icons. It's called React in the Zoom window. You can raise your hand, and honestly, if you can't find the hand icon, if you raise any type of a React icon, I'll notice it. And failing that, if you just raise your hand in the video, I will see you and I will call on you in your turn. Okay, I do see that we have some meeting minutes to approve. April 17th came in and was distributed. I am looking for a motion to approve those.
So moved.
Thank you, Chris.
Second.
Second by Jeff. Thank you. Roll call vote. Chris St. Germain.
Aye.
Mike LaRouche.
Aye.
Jeff Viviano.
Aye.
Jenny Putherer.
Aye.
And I for myself. So we have approved those meeting minutes. And for the purposes of commissioner attendance, I did just admit Rich to our fine lineup. Thank you, Rich. All right. Moving along. Sophie, have we had any requests for hearing continuations?
Yes. Let me check my notes. We have 390 Howard Street requested a continuance to May 15th. The other continuance is 171 Arbor Street. And that is also continued to May 15th. 141 Hemlock Drive is also continued to let's see, May 15th. And that is, those are all the continuances that I'm aware of.
Okay, very good. I'll go ahead and read those in so that we can get Conservation Commission votes to continue those hearings. Pursuant to Mass General Law, Chapter 131, Section 40, as amended in the Town of Lunenburg Wetlands Protection and Municipal Bylaws, a public hearing on an abbreviated notice of resource area delineation by Kevin O'Brien at 390 Howard Street, DEP number 208-1304. And as Sophie just said, the applicant has requested a continuation to May 15th. Do I have a motion by the Conservation Commission to continue this to the 15th?
So moved.
Thank you, Rich.
Second, Mike.
Thank you, Mike. Roll call vote. Jenny Putherer,
Aye.
Rich Birsch,
Aye.
Jeff Viviano,
Aye.
Mike LaRouche,
Aye.
Chris St. Germain,
Aye.
and I for myself. So 390 Howard Street's continued to May 15th. 171 Arbor Street, pursuant to Mass General Law, Chapter 131, Section 40 as amended, and the Town of Lunenburg Wetlands Protection and Municipal Bylaws, a public hearing on a notice of intent by Steve Powell for the construction of a single family and associated site work at 171 Arbor Street, DEP 208-1308, with a request for continuation to May 15th.
So moved.
Thank you, Rich.
Second, Mike.
Thank you, Mike. Roll call vote. Jeff Viviano,
Aye.
Mike LaRouche,
Aye.
Jenny Putherer,
Aye.
Chris St. Germain,
Aye.
Rich Birsch,
Aye.
and I for myself. Okay, 141 Hemlock Drive. Pursuant to Mass General Law 131, you know what? Just to close out on the other one, it was unanimous approval to continue to May 15th. Just want to make certain I punctuate that. And moving along. Pursuant to Mass General Law, Chapter 131, Section 40 is amended, and the Town of Lunenburg Wetlands Protection and Municipal Bylaws, a public hearing on a request for determination of applicability by Jan Willem for laying of naturalized stone steps and crushed stone within the buffer zone of a wetland at 141 Hemlock Drive. The applicant has requested a continuation to May 15th. To have a motion to continue on behalf of the Conservation Commission.
So moved.
Thank you, Chris.
Second,
Second.
Mike.
I'm going to give that one to Jenny, Mike.
That's fine.
Yeah. Roll call vote. Jeff Viviano,
Aye.
Mike LaRouche,
Aye.
Jenny Putherer,
Aye.
Chris St. Germain,
Aye.
Rich Birsch,
Aye.
and I for myself. So we have continued that 141 Hemlock Drive also to May 15th. Okay. Now we've handled the continuations. We will move along to new public hearings. Pursuant to Mass General Law, Chapter 131, Section 40 as amended, and the Town of Lunenburg Wetlands Protection and Municipal Bylaws, a public hearing for a request for determination of applicability for the proposal of adding sand to the beach area and replenishing stones along the shore at Lake Shirley. It says Lake Shirley, and that is a typo. It's Hickory Hills Lake. At 19 Island Road. Do we have the applicant or the representative here tonight?
Doug Waters here. 80 Horizon, sorry, 80 Horizon Island Road. Yeah, I was gonna point out that typo there, not Lake Shirley, Hickory Hills.
Thank you for that. And do you have, did you actually have your application online? Did you want to show that, or were you expecting us to share that?
It doesn't, I don't have the, like the WPA form itself. I don't have that, but the other diagrams and things I do have, I can share them if you like.
That would be helpful. Thank you.
I'm
Okay.
sorry, is it 19 Highland or 80 Horizon?
Sorry, I live at 80 Horizon Island Road. I am representing, so I should probably explain this. So Doug Waters, not on the board of directors for Hickory Hills. Mike Coulombe is the Land and Resource chair, and on the board of directors, I am just following his direction and presenting this today since he's on vacation.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. I am disabled for sharing.
Okay, I think I've got you enabled now, Doug.
Gotcha. Okay. Let's see what crazy. Maybe I should have closed half my screens. Hang on.
We don't want to know what your Mother's Day shopping list is.
Or my wife's for that matter. Just rearranging. There we go. Okay, let's try this again. Could be that. Hopefully that's large enough for everyone. So,
That looks pretty good.
okay. And the pretty diagram to go along with it. So this is and you can all see that, correct? The
Yes.
Diagram, yes, okay. The yellow outline is roughly the main beach area. We plan to add 25 to 30 cubic yards of of sand to the existing beach area there. And the area is approximately 120 by 80 feet. I know my drawing is not quite the size. I probably should have labeled it as such. But that's the area there. There's picnic tables, the little brown squares, a couple trees. And the other area, we already do have a lake management plan on file with you guys, which is for erosion control. There is along the a little bit of a peninsula outcropping, and there's already existing stones there. But as you know, it rains every 24 hours now, and it's been eroded behind that. So we just want to add some more stones behind there, which is actually covered, erosion control is actually covered under the lake management plan, but I just wanted to call it out in case, knowing you guys would be down there one way or another. And I know Bob Pease uses the area all the time. So just to cover all bases is there. That's the intent of it, is just to restore the main beach area, adding approximately 1 inch to 2 inches of sand to that area. And that's about it. Oh, and I suppose 10 we'll keep 10 feet off of the high water mark. They just put the last set of boards in today, so wherever that winds up, I'm sure that'll be filled in like less than a week, but we'll keep it out as best we can away from the water line itself. That's about the gist of it.
Okay, very good, Doug. I think actually in the submitted documentation, you pointed out that you already rake the sand out of the lake as an ongoing maintenance effort.
We do, yes. Every year we do have Lakeview comes in and we mud rake without going into the bottom, obviously just whatever falls that year, but you get a little bit of sand with it as well. So we do, it's not like it's shallow over there. So we try and maintain that as well. So we do rake it out every year so that there's not a whole lot of sand blown in there.
Okay, thank you. And when Jenny and I had the opportunity to meet with you and walk the site this weekend,
Mhm.
when we were walking with you, I think you said the existing vegetation that's there along the beach area, you were not planning to cover that up, but just put the sand in the kind of existing sand area, as it were.
Yes, basically like crabgrass has grown over one side of it, less used area. We're just gonna leave it there. It seems to hold it pretty well. We always look for new ways instead of just throwing sand there, because as you know, sand blows around. But it is the best, for bare feet and stuff like that. We have over the course of time looked at other things, maybe mulch, maybe small stones or something, but we'll see whatever works better with the whole Hickory Hills board and stuff like that over the long course of time. But currently it's sand.
Okay. Very good. Sophie, have you completed a site walk and did you have any recommendations for the commission?
Yes, I did a site walk last week and took some photos and uploaded those to the Google Drive. I don't really have any concerns for the project as it's proposed. I know that the commission likes to know what kind of trees are around, but I mean, half the commission probably knows what trees were there, but if you wanted that information, I could provide it.
Couple of birches, couple oaks, a lot of pines.
Yeah, I
There you
think
go.
that, yeah.
Sums it up.
And I think Doug, you also confirmed that this project, you're not planning to take down any trees or smother any roots or anything
No.
like that.
No.
Okay. Okay, thank you for that. I will do, we have any questions or comments from members of the commission?
Madam Chair,
Yes, Rich.
as I believe my brother does work for the beach area here, I'm going to recuse myself from this RDA.
Does.
Thank you, Rich.
He does great work, by the way.
Thank you. I will let him know.
Well, if I'm not seeing any questions or concerns, then maybe I'm looking for a motion to approve with a finding of a negative determination.
This is Chris. I move to approve with a finding of negative determination.
Seconded?
Okay, a motion by Chris and a second by Jenny. And I will go for a roll call vote. I will note that Bob joined, but he joined partway through. So Bob, for the purposes of this, I'm not gonna have you be a voting member. We will certainly take advantage of your attendance for some of the later hearings. Okay, roll call vote. Chris,
Aye.
Mike,
Aye.
Jeff,
Aye.
Jenny,
Aye.
and I for myself. So there you go, approved with what we call detect negative determination.
All right,
Thank-
awesome. All right,
thank
thank
you,
you
Doug.
guys. Awesome. All right, I'm gonna stop sharing now.
Thank you. I thought I pinned Bob.
Yeah, he's here.
I saw him. I thought I had pinned him. If I could see all the commissioners on my pin screen, it makes it easier for me to manage the roll call votes. We will now move into continued public hearings. Pursuant to Mass General Law, Chapter 131, Section 40 is amended, and the Town of Lunenburg Wetlands Protection and Municipal Bylaws, a public hearing on a request for determination of applicability by Dave Catralis for the removal of dead trees and the addition of an open deck within the buffer zone of a wetland at 189 Hemlock Drive. Do we have Mr. Catralis or his representative here on the call? I do see Mr. Catralis.
David is here.
Thank you. And so do you just want to catch us up on where we are with your project?
Sure. As you requested, I got a formal tree guy to come over to take a look at the trees. I sent you, or I should say, I sent Sophia the documents, 2 letters and an updated diagram. And the tree guy basically said all of them should come down for his reasons of where's the, I just had it, now it's gone. That they're all either dead, dying, or going to be a potential hazard for the house or for people. So his recommendation is to take them all down. And then I talked to Lakeview, and we came up with a plan for replanting trees and shrubbery to mitigate erosion and get the cover back up over the water again with some bigger trees.
Do you have that plan that you could share, or perhaps I can get one of my commissioners to share that plan?
Can Sophia possibly do it? I do not have the ability.
Chris, you said that you might be able to. Oh, Sophia has it.
There you go.
Okay.
Perfect. That's the first letter from Elite Tree.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, that's pretty clear. I think I was more for me anyway, kind of wanted to see the replanting plan.
One more. There it is. So if you read, I believe it's Matt or Mark. Sorry, if you read Mark's letter and stuff, it explains why we can't get as many trees in there as much as we want to. I was able to figure out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 within the 30. Because of all the stumps you want to keep in the ground, you have to have the new trees so far away from the other stumps. And there's already some other stumps that have been cut down before, whether it's from beavers or they fell down during storms and stuff. So this was the best we could come up with within the 30. The scribble marks around the open deck, that's all the blueberry and shrubbery that he was talking about. To try to get those, yep, all in there. Yeah, and I believe Mark has a red oak and red maple for tree replacement. And then Mount Laurel, high bush, and low bush blueberries, winter berries. And unless there's something else you'd prefer instead, we can substitute it out.
And I assume that that's spelled out in the letter.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. On the other side of that Freight Logic, I know that's not shown, but there are a bunch of other trees already over there along between the road and the water, and there's also trees along the waterway already and everything.
Okay, and the X's are the trees to be removed?
That's correct. If you see the double X's right next to each other, it's basically one giant stump with 2 trees coming out of it.
Okay. Okay, so 16 in the 30-foot. I don't understand that. It says times 16 in the 30-foot and then times 10 over 30. Does that mean outside of the 30-foot?
Correct. Correct. Yes.
Okay. And outside of the 30, but presumably within the 50?
Yes, I believe the 50 mark is probably right around where that one little black dot is on near the Hemlock Terrace wording. That's probably about the 50 right there.
Oh, okay, so almost all of the lot is, or that side, you actually have a cul-de-sac in front and then Hemlock Terrace going beside the
Correct.
property, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, I think I'm clear on that plan. Do we have questions from other members of the commission?
Madam Chair,
Yes, Rich.
as this applicant's working with my brother at Lakeview Landscaping, I'm gonna recuse myself from this RDA.
Thank you, Rich. And Sophie, while the commissioners gather in their thoughts, what were your recommendations on this property?
Well, my original thoughts have changed based on what the professional has brought to light. I do hesitate on some of the removal, but I would put faith in the professional for that. So I would I'd probably move forward with a positive determination. And maybe the commission has something that they would like to see that could kind of counteract all the disease tree removal and have some healthy growth. That's
Okay,
about
so
it.
I think what you're saying is that you recommend a positive determination, and so that we channel this through the NOI process.
Um, I'm not entirely sure. I'm kind of 50-50.
Okay. Thank you. Mike, I'll call on you. You have your hand raised. Thank you.
Yes, Madam Chair. I'm just curious of why Sophia has concerns or reservations. If she can elaborate, that would be great. And also the person who's recommending all these trees to be cut, is this person an arborist, or is he just the owner of a company that cuts trees?
Good questions, Mike. Sophie?
Well, I guess we could probably get some clarification on that as well while the applicant's here, because I do see landscape professional, but I'm not sure what their background is. So that's kind of why I have the reservation of, yes, they're professional, but to what extent have they hired this person, and what their background is and what their knowledge is for the health of trees. So I'm not sure what the extent of their knowledge is.
So their letterhead doesn't claim licensed arborists or anything of that sort.
Um, I can share it again, but it's right here. I can just share it.
Boy, or you could just tell us.
Oops.
That's Lakeview. And is Lakeview, who did the, tree assessment?
I
Thought it was Elite Tree.
Madam Chair, I had both Elite Tree and Lakeview come over, do the walkthrough. They both, without knowing one from the other, they both said the exact same thing, that most of them are visibly dead or dying, and that the amount of that I'm gonna be taking out for the dead and dying ones, the ones that are gonna be left over are going to probably be a danger or a hazard with the lack of the surrounding trees to protect each other, if you will.
Mhm.
So they're both of them separately said that they should all come down on the safe side, replant, and then like he said, let's get some better, stronger trees up there than the
Okay.
pines and stuff that are in the way. But a lot of them are dead, dying, or like I call them house killers, or the shed killer, if you will, being right in front of it. If it's a couple more trees, I can probably put a couple more up in the beyond the 30, maybe along the side closer to the road, maybe to help over there, maybe. That's the only thing I can think of for placement without yeah, without getting all those other trunks and stuff, stumps and stuff in the way. I can probably do a few more over there, maybe.
Okay. So I did see that Mark Birch joined. I don't know if he's walked the property, if it's somebody else from his company that's walked the property. Mark, did you have any commentary about the health
Yeah.
of the trees in question?
Can you hear me?
I can, yes.
Okay. Yeah, I walked the property. I agreed with the assessment from the tree company. There were a few larger trees, some struck by lightning, all infringing on the house itself.
It's tight over there.
It's very tight. The only thing with the plan is I might spread the understory plants out a little bit more while the canopy reestablishes itself for the trees that we were putting in.
Okay. Thank you, Mark. Thanks for confirming that.
Yep.
Jenny, you had your hand up, but it looks like your hand is down.
I think my question got answered.
Okay, great. Jeff, I'll call on you next.
I was just wondering if any commissioners had a chance to do a site walk.
I did
what-
with Mike and Jenny.
So I'd love to hear your opinion.
There are a lot of trees there. And the house is basically shoehorned into the trees. And there was a lot that honestly, with all those crowded trees, I'm not surprised that there is some, health issues. There are a lot, and I saw visible damage. I didn't actually go through and count the ones with visible damage, but there were a lot with visible damage, and they're very tall trees, so almost all of them hover over a structure of some kind. Mike, Jenny, would you want to add anything?
Madam Chair, did we take some pictures to kind of share with everyone to give the sense of congestion of trees?
Do have photos. I know I have photos. Mine are actually on my phone though, so I don't have a convenient way of sharing. Do we have any photos in the SharePoint drive? Thank you, Sophie, for doing this. Yeah, so that shows the beaver damage. And the one that Sophie has there that had caught the corner of the house is pretty representative of the crowding that is around. You can see how dense the trees are around the house.
Madam Chair, this is Corey Dowcatralis. I just want to make one other comment. We've had roof damage because of limbs falling from these trees as well. And I know we shared those photos with Sophie previously. I don't know if she has pictures of that as well.
Yeah, I'm not surprised with the number of branches and trees that overhang the property. Do we have other questions from members of the commission?
Can you hear me?
Bob, I can hear you, but you're a little pingy, but I can make out what you're saying.
Well, that's because I'm driving in the car. I don't have any questions. I don't see why we would do a positive termination here. I don't see that it's going to have any impact on the resource area, and I'm not sure what jumping through what additional information we would get, by making the applicant reapply, with a different set of legal ads, a different set of fees, and a different, public hearing, a month or two from now. So I am definitely not in favor of a positive determination. Thank you.
Thank you for that, Bob. I'm aligned with where you're at on that as well. Yeah, I think this is a matter of tree management. Chris, you have your hand up.
Yeah, the fact that two companies came to the same conclusion, kind of weighs a little heavy with me. I'm leaning to going forward with the recommendations and, protect the property. So.
Thank you for that, Chris. Sophie.
I just I just want to kind of retract my previous statement, mostly based upon our continued conversation about this. And I change it to a recommendation of a negative RDA with the the removal with the addition of plantings.
Okay. Thank you for that, Sophie. So do any of my commissioners have a concern about a negative determination with condition of the replacement of trees? And if so, raise your hand, make some gesture, or I'm gonna assume that you don't. So then in my mind, the next logical question is the quantity that's being replaced. And right now it's proposed 7 within the 30, 24 understory as shown, but spread out a little bit more per Mark's articulation. And I didn't actually capture in my notes how many were proposed for outside of the 30 and within the 50. I think it was 10. If somebody could just reference that for me quickly.
Yeah, 10 over the 30.
Okay. And that within the 30 doesn't seem to match our guidelines for within the 30, but again, I would give precedence to the the health of the trees and not wanting the new trees to be grown in an overcrowded area, right? So I want them to grow into a healthy situation. So I'm also okay with that. Does anybody have a concern there or want to advocate in a different direction? Mike, you're coming off of mute. Did you have something to say?
Yes, I wanted, did we have the kind of trees that are being replaced in the plan?
We were told red oak and red maple. And I understand that that's in the plan, but for those of you that are actually able to look, don't have to navigate, facilitate hosting, would you just
Yeah.
check on that?
That says I would recommend red oak or red maple for tree replacement for the understory, mountain laurel, high bush, or low bush blueberry and winterberry.
Okay, so that's in the submitted documentation, Mike.
So do we have an amount of trees vis-a-vis bushes that are being put in?
24 of the bushes,
And how many trees?
7 within the 30, 10 between the 30 and the 50.
I might have been mistaken on I was reading the removal. It says, I recommend installation of approximately 6 trees as defined on the plan we reviewed, approximately 1.5 inch caliper with the addition of 24 2 to 3 gallon understory native plant material.
Hey, Chris, why don't you share what you're seeing? Because I wrote down what was on the top of the diagram, and that seems to be a little bit different. And I think we want to be really clear what we're
I'm
approving.
reading off of this of Landscaping and Irrigation Inc. This is Dave's recommendation here. So I think is that what we're talking about?
Mark's recommendation.
Yeah.
Does that comply to our regulation in the amount of trees that are being removed and the amount of trees that are being planted?
I think, Mike, we don't want to cause the same crowding. So I think there's going to be less replacement than we're removing because of the overcrowding. That's the way I'm interpreting it. And also, we don't want to have the house have the same issue 10 years later with trees hovering over it. So I think it's I don't think it's a typical replacement due to the situation of the way the house is in a very tight lot.
There are trees, Chris, that can fit under canopies and that can do well in shaded spaces. And I'm just wondering if the applicant has considered that, or without overcrowding and endangering the property.
Things like native dogwoods and whatnot that are understory trees.
Correct.
We're open for, we went by what Lakeview's idea was and such. Again, we're open to substitutions, and if you want a few more over the 30, we can I can work with Lakeview on that, and we can put maybe another a couple more red oaks or maples in, or maybe some smaller like flowering trees type of thing, where maybe they won't get so big near the house. Would that satisfy your concern?
It would satisfy me.
Okay.
And Mark, what are your thoughts on that? I mean, Dave, if it's okay with you, since we have your expert here on the
By all
call,
means,
maybe
yes.
let's take advantage.
Please.
So Madam Chair, I was looking primarily inside the 30. I was upsizing some of that stock because your requirement for replacement, the numbers are higher, and I was trying to reduce the amount of impact to the soils in that area in general. I didn't really look outside the 30. But again, the density, the density of what is there is very thick. I did review with David about the possibility you might require some stuff outside the 30. Again, if you're looking at the numbers, I wouldn't go tree for tree. He's planning on leaving the majority of the stumps. So it doesn't give for area to put much stock in. So, off the cuff, I don't know, David, if you had any plans outside the 30 with the stumps, were you removing those or leaving them or grinding them or?
Nope, all the
have
stumps,
make it
all the stumps are
green
gonna
space?
stay, all the stumps are gonna stay. I was thinking maybe closer to the access road of Hemlock Terrace, maybe a couple over that way.
Yeah,
I think we can probably throw a couple in over there, I'm thinking.
yeah, I mean, we could definitely add, we didn't plan on any installation outside the 30. So,
Actually, let's, Chris, if you could scroll down to the diagram that was provided. We may have misunderstood what that had. So at the top of that, it has, okay.
the majority of what I proposed are most of the circles within the 30-foot buffer.
And I put I have a 0.2 over 30 feet. I was thinking ahead of myself, but yeah, basically, if you scroll just a little bit more, those two trees right near where it says Hemlock, there's two X's near Hemlock. I was thinking right in between there. I may be able to get two more smaller trees in. And maybe some more of the bushes, maybe to go in between or something of that nature. Obviously I'd have to defer to Lakeview for their expertise. I'm not a planter, but.
Madam Chair,
Bob, is that you?
it is me.
Yeah, okay.
I don't know how to raise my hand on a phone while driving in the car.
Talking is just fine. I appreciate you being with us even though you're commuting.
I think it makes no sense to strictly follow our tree replacement regulations here. I mean, we have a situation where there were too many trees. They were overcrowded, creating unhealthy tree growth. I don't think we're doing the environment any favors by trying to figure out where we could cram some more trees in here to satisfy some numerical requirement, that when it was crafted, I believe, was assuming that we were replacing healthy tree growth. So I don't think in my opinion, as one member of the commission, we should not be asking the applicant to figure out where he could cram in more trees here. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Bob. Thanks for that commentary. Jeff?
Yeah, thanks, Madam Chair. I'm looking at near maps here, and from what everybody's saying, it's real tight, and there's a lot of trees crammed in there. So, I'm with Bob and Chris on this one. I'm pretty happy with the replantings that they have scheduled right now. So, I am good to move forward.
Okay, thank you for that, Jeff. Okay then, do we have any more questions? It sounds like we're kind of drawing down to a close here. I would be open to motions at this point.
Madam Chair, I'd like to make a motion that we improve with a negative determination with the replacement plan as presented.
Second.
Thank you, Bob. Thank you, Chris. Roll call vote. Chris Saint Germain,
Aye.
Mike LaRouche,
No.
Jeff Viviano,
Aye.
Jenny Putherer,
Aye.
Bob Pease,
Aye.
and I for myself. For a negative determination, with the, plan as presented. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
We will move along. Okay. Next in our agenda was 290 Howard Street. We've already closed that one, for anybody that may have joined, after. We'll move along to the next one. Pursuant to Mass General Law, Chapter 131, Section 40 is amended, and the Town of Lunenburg Wetlands Protection and Municipal Bylaws. A public hearing on a notice of intent by Stephen McSweeney for the construction of a single-family home and associated site work at 255 Sunny Hill Road, DEP number 208-1320. Do we have Mr. McSweeney and or his representative here on the call tonight?
John Plifka here, McCarty Engineering, presenting McSweeney's.
Thank you. And I didn't catch your last name, John.
It's Plifka, so it's
Plifka.
Plifka.
Okay. Thank you. I think where we were with this is we were Town of Lunenburg was requesting third-party review on this project. Is that consistent with your own understanding?
So it's my understanding that we were going to request third-party review for the wetland delineation of the parcel. There were some questions because, wetland flags had been changed a little bit. And so we agreed to the third-party review of the wetland delineation only. And after receipt of Goddard Engineering's proposal, there seemed to be a lot of scope added to their proposal, and not something we're exactly willing to agree to at this point. And I was just wondering if we could discuss.
What was added that you take an exception to?
Well, it was added cost, and it was a lot more than the applicant was expecting to have. I apologize. I'm pulling it up now. At the last meeting, I think it was 2 meetings ago, we were supposed to have the quotes from the third-party review. We just received it today, and the total was $8,500. And within their quote, it included wetland delineation review, riverfront boundary determination, riverfront wetland impacts and alternative analysis review, replication area design review, and compliance with wetlands bylaws, attendance to the hearing, site walk with the commission. So at this time, we're really only comfortable, or we only previously agreed to having that task 1. So that's kind of our position, and I'm willing to talk more about it, but that was our understanding. We're a little, caught off guard with their proposal.
Madam Chair,
Yes, Bob.
I'm sorry, I'm driving down the driveway of the Woodlands, so I'll be on my computer probably in 5 or 10 minutes.
Sure.
Here's what happened. We took and I sent the request for proposals to the 3 engineers for Sophie, because Sophie didn't have time to get to it. One engineer responded immediately that they weren't going to respond. They were too busy. Or one wetland scientist, I should say wetland scientist. Another wetland scientist came back, I think it was Scott Goddard, came back and said, well, what about all this other stuff? Would you like me to review this other stuff? And I said, can you please, and I consulted with you at the time, and we said, sure, why not? And so I asked So I asked the two remaining wetland scientists to quote, the full list of stuff. I said, but please provide a separate quote for just the wetlands delineation, because this other stuff has not been requested by the commission and, has not been agreed to, by the applicant. And so now we actually have two quotes, one from LEC and one from Scott Goddard. And Scott Goddard one, the Scott Goddard one, he sent a separate quote. He sent a separate quote for $2,500 just for the wetlands delineation. And the other one, just for the wetlands delineation, it was $1,500. And I can share both of those with the commission when I'm on my computer in a little bit.
Okay, thank you, Bob.
Yeah, thank you, Bob. I had not seen that the secondary proposal Bob had mentioned. I apologize. I'm kind of filling in here. I wasn't on the email chain earlier today, so I was just kind of forwarded it last minute, and that wasn't included as part of the attachments that were provided to me. But if that's the case, and there's a proposal that's solely for the wetland delineation, that would be acceptable.
And one of the reasons we went for it is because when this application first came up, there was no discussion of the alternatives analysis, and the alternatives analysis must have changed because from what the original, because I haven't seen a new alternatives analysis, because the original thing said there was a very little encroachment of the driveway onto the wetlands. And since then, the wetlands boundaries have changed significantly, so that now, replication is required and all that other stuff. So that's why we went for the further stuff.
Yeah, and my own personal concern about that particular parcel was the riverfront delineation. Because it appeared to me when I walked out there that, and I didn't have the opportunity to go with the wetland scientist from the applicant because that walk happened during the week. Yeah, it appears that to me that there was actually current flowing across the dam up adjacent to the parcel, which is not shown in the riverfront delineation and the original plan is submitted. So when Scott brought those additional recommendations up, they seemed relevant to the application.
Okay, I acknowledge that comment, but it's that's kind of new information to us at this time. And we've had our wetland scientists go back out there and to verify, and she's confident with her delineation of the riverfront. So we don't see it as an issue in our mind. Could we propose maybe that we agree to the portion of, or the separate proposal that only delineates for the delineation of the wetland only? So that would be our preferred route if we approve that, and then I guess we could coordinate another site walk. We just don't want to commit to having another third party review on this right at this time for the riverfront.
I'm not certain that the quote would be relevant. I mean, we'd probably have to go out for a second quote, right, to get them out on site again.
So no,
if that's what you're saying that you want, right, to go down a piecemeal path.
I would say that for what Bob said, a separate proposal was issued for the wetland delineation only. I haven't seen that one, but task 1 of Goddard's whole proposal for his entire scope of services is the wetland delineation. So at this time, I guess we would recommend or request that we could just agree to task 1 of the proposal, just the wetland delineation. Yep, there you go. And then we could regroup from there, just because this was thrown out as kind of last minute and we haven't had a chance to really discuss this with the applicant.
Okay, thank you for that commentary. Chris, I'll call on you. Oh, we can't hear you. You're still on mute.
That was my understanding was just the initial wetlands delineation. So I'm confused why we're adding other things. I mean, last time I was part of this discussion, that's what we were waiting on. I mean, I know Goddard went and did a bunch of other things, but I think that was outside of what we were what we had asked the applicant. So I want to know if any other commissioners agree or disagree with that.
So I actually thought when we agreed to this, I've not been through many of these applications where we asked for a third-party review. I thought that a wetland and a river were inclusive. And so I thought that the river delineation would be included with the wetlands delineation, which may be my error, right? So when Scott came back and said, well, hey, here are 3 other things that, you know, seem to be applicable, but you're not asking for it. I went, oh, well, I thought we were asking for that. So yes, please do them. So that's where my head was at, for right or for wrong.
If I may, I just want to chime in, but that's not what we agreed to previously. So we agreed to the wetland delineation, and that's what we're willing to commit to.
Thank you, John. Sophie, you have your hand up.
I wanted to say that it does sound like there might have been a miscommunication in some way, shape, or form. But I also do have the other peer review letter if you would still like me to share. I know Bob was going to, but I do have it available.
Yeah, that would be helpful. Rich, while Sophie's calling that up, I'll call on you.
Yeah, Madam Chair, I do agree with Chris as far as our intent was for the wetland delineation. The delineation of the riverfront is pretty straightforward.
Instead of helping me?
Yeah.
Why?
I think somebody might want to go on mute. Okay, Rich, back to you. It
Yeah,
seems
the
like
wetland delineation is pretty straightforward from the bank in 100 feet and 200 feet for the 2 different riparian zones. And honestly, a movement a little either way is not going to affect the project, in my opinion, at this point, because the majority of it is either right along or just inside the outer riparian or 200-foot zone. So I personally don't see a big need to have the riverfront itself redelineated. My biggest concern was the wetland delineation because their expert went out once and did it, and we called them on it. Of course, they thought the first time they did it correctly. So then they went back and did it again and said, oh, here we go, now it's right. So that was my biggest reason for asking for the delineation from a third-party reviewer, where they definitely got it wrong big time the first time. So I didn't feel comfortable with them performing it again and taking their word for it. So I'm in favor of the wetland delineation, but I don't think we need to proceed at this point with the riverfront. again, that's just my opinion, but
Thank you, Rich.
thank you.
Mary,
Yeah, Bob.
after listening to what Rich's comments, I'm comfortable with just proceeding with the wetlands delineation.
Okay.
When Sophie calls up the other quote, you're gonna see that the other quote, I think, was 1,500 for just the wetlands delineation. And Scott Goddard's executive assistant sent a follow-up email saying that for just the wetlands delineation, their price would be 2,500. It's not in the original quote, but they did send a separate email, which I printed to a PDF, but I'm not able to share that right now.
Okay.
Thank you. I'm gonna mute now.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, then. I think we've heard from the applicant that they're willing to accept the wetland delineation review. Do we have any other comment around that? Questions or comments around that? And then I think for next steps, Rich, I'll lean on you just a little bit, because I think you've been through this a few more times than I have. Would I then ask the commission for a vote on accepting one of these quotes and a specific quote, or what would we take as next steps?
You certainly can. I believe the applicant has a say in which one, make sure, or at least that they're not in a conflict with either one of the two wetland specialists that are gonna provide the quote or the service.
Thank you, Rich. And just speaking on behalf of the applicant, we're fine working with either consultant. Just to be clear, as long as it's for the wetland delineation only. That's the only thing we're agreeing to.
Perfect. Good. Okay, thank you, John. And so then for the commissioners, do we need to review those quotes and compare them to determine which we want to accept? Or what would we propose as the next steps?
Mary, I don't know why we would ask. I don't know that there's any, both of these firms are highly respected firms. And I don't know why we would ask the applicant to pay $1,000 more for one firm over the other.
Okay. So then I
Agreed.
think I'm looking for a motion to move forward with LEC, which was 1,500,
So moved.
or the wetland delineation only.
Second.
So I got a motion by Chris and a second by Rich Birch. So we'll go for a roll call vote. Jeff,
Aye.
Mike,
Aye.
Jenny?
I don't think I can vote on this one.
You can't. That's right. Thank you. Chris,
Aye.
Rich,
Aye.
Bob,
Aye.
and I for myself.
All right. Thank you very much. Appreciate your time, guys.
So in terms of process, let's just make certain that we all leave this meeting clear. I think the applicant would need to send the office a check for 1,500, and then Sophie would put it in an account to hold until the work is complete. Is that what we would expect to happen? Maybe leaning on Bob or Rich for that part of it.
Yes, that was what would happen.
Okay. Thank you. Sophie, is that clear to you? It makes sense?
Yes, and now that I have an assistant, I can definitely delegate that task. She's great. So it should be done pretty quickly.
Okay. Very good. All right. And did we get any timelines from these consultants? So do we have like an expectation of whether we should have the meeting scheduled for our next meeting of the 15th, or whether it should be go to the following meeting?
If I may,
Yes.
I think we'd like to continue to the next meeting. In the event that we don't have anything back from the third party review, we would just simply request a continuance to the next meeting. But we'd like to maintain a spot on the next agenda.
Okay. Thank you. So I think I'm looking for a motion to continue to May 15th.
So moved.
Thank you, Rich. Have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Jeff. Roll call vote on the continuation. Bob Pease,
Aye.
Rich Birsch,
Aye.
Chris St. Germain,
Aye.
Mike LaRouche,
Aye.
Jeff Viviano,
Aye.
and I for myself.
Perfect.
Okay, very good. Thank
All
you,
right.
John.
Thank you, and we'll coordinate getting that check to Sophie as soon as possible.
Thank you. Okay, moving along. Pursuant to Mass General Law, Chapter 131, Section 40, as amended in the Town of Lunenburg Wetlands Protection and Municipal Bylaws, a public hearing for a request for amendment to the order of conditions for DEP file number 2081310 by Matt Mitrano for a new site improvements of a staircase, reconstructed porch, expanded footprint, reconstructed concrete walkway, and masonry walkway within the buffer zone of a wetland on Lake Shirley at 386 Sunset Lane. Do we have Matt Mitrano or his representative here tonight?
Yes, Madam Chair, Ryan Proctor from Dillis Roy, and Matt is with us as well.
Very good, Ryan. Do you want to catch us up on where we are with this project?
I'd be happy to. Would it be all right if I shared my screen?
Yes, please.
Okay, so we have been before the commission on this project twice now. We met 2 weeks ago, and there were a couple of plan changes that were requested by the commission. At the end of last week, I submitted a revised site plan with a cover letter describing those changes. There were 3 plan changes. The first of which was relative to the proposed spiral staircase. On an effort to increase the setback between the lake and the staircase, we've shifted it so it's going to be installed on the side of the existing deck. We weren't able to get it completely outside of the 50-foot, but we were able to increase it from its previous location in the front here to the side. The second item, which was a new item I had brought up at the last meeting, was that the existing concrete patio underneath the deck, the owner intends to replace that with permeable pavers. That's an improvement over the condition there. However, we did want to formalize that on the plan as requested by the commission, so I added that to the revised site plan. And lastly, we reduced the footprint of the reconstructed walkway. This will again be constructed with the same permeable pavers. The Teco blocks that the owner intends to use, the smallest percentage of open area in the pervious pavers is 4.5%. So that's the proposed increase in size and footprint of that walkway that we are proposing. And I did submit a catalog of those permeable pavers as well for your review. Those were the only changes since last meeting. If there's any questions on any of that, I'd be happy to take them.
I don't have any questions, Ryan. Thank you. I'll open the floor to Conservation Commission question or comment. Rich Birsch.
Madam Chair, Ryan has done great work and has answered and alleviated all of the questions I had with it. So I am ready to move forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Rich. Do we have other questions or concerns from members of the commission? Okay, I am not seeing any. Do we have questions or comments from members of the public? And I'm not seeing any of those either. Okay, it looks like I'm looking for a motion to approve.
So moved.
Thank you,
Second.
Rich. Thank you, Jeff. Roll call vote, Bob Pease,
Aye.
Rich Birsch,
Aye.
Chris St. Germain,
Aye.
Jenny Putherer, Mike,
Aye.
Jeff,
Aye.
an aye for myself. It's an approval with a standard order of conditions with the plan as presented and recently amended. Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay, our next two, 171 Arbor Street has already been cleared through continuation requests. 141 Hemlock has also been cleared through continuation requests that we handled at the beginning of the meeting. So we will move along to administrative determinations, extension requests, and certificates of compliance requests. So we have a certificate of compliance request for 701R Reservoir Road. Sophie, you want to tell us what your recommendations were for that?
This one should be approved. The wall was done and there's no erosion issues. And they plan on doing some nice landscaping along the wall too.
Do we have any questions or comments by members of the commission? And if there are none, then I'm looking for a motion.
Motion to approve.
Thank you, Chris.
Second.
Second.
Oh, okay. I heard Jeff. I heard somebody before Jeff, but I didn't catch the voice, so we'll go with Jeff as the second. Roll call vote, Bob Pease,
Aye.
Rich Birsch,
Aye.
Chris St. Germain,
Aye.
Jenny Putherer,
Aye.
Mike LaRouche,
Aye.
Jeff
And that was-
Viviano. Oh,
I was just
something,
saying,
Mike?
I was just saying that was me with my phantom voice.
okay. Thank
Just so
you,
you know.
Mike. Yeah. Thank you.
But
Okay.
aye for this.
Okay. Aye for Mike and Jeff.
Aye.
Okay, so we approve 701R Reservoir Road, 33 Johnson Street. Sophie,
This one is a fairly older one. I would suggest approving this one as well. The house and garage were built to plan.
thank you, Sophie. Questions or comments by the commission? Looking for a motion if there are no questions or comments.
Motion to approve.
Thank you, Chris.
Second, Mike.
Thank you, Mike. Roll call vote, Bob Pease,
Aye.
Rich Birsch,
Aye.
Chris St. Germain,
Aye.
Jenny Putherer, Mike LaRouche,
Aye.
Jeff Viviano.
Aye.
Okay, approved. Thank you. Oh, aye for myself. 255 Prospect Street. Sophie,
So this one, everything was pretty much done to plan. There are some like, I would say bare spots, like bare soil. Looks like some seeding was done in that area. So, and it's pretty close to the water, but overall, I don't think any erosion would happen based off of the topography there. So I would want to approve that certificate of compliance. However, if the commission feels that vegetation should be present, then perhaps they would want to hold off on that.
How big were those bare spots?
I didn't take a measurement, but just eyeballing it, probably
Yeah.
2 of me, so 17 by maybe either 12 to 15 feet.
Okay, sizable.
Yeah. And it didn't appear that it was a lot of good soil material for seeding. A lot of it was nutrient lacking soil with mixed mulch as well.
Okay, sounds a little concerning. And I thought we had a member of the public with their hand raised, but I actually don't see them now. It's like they dropped. Did we have questions or comments from commissioners?
Yeah, can you clarify, are we talking about erosion between the house and the water? I mean, I'm not clear what we're talking about, honestly.
Well, there's just one bare spot that somehow the grass got taken up on the, if you're looking at the house, it's the left side, and it's
Okay,
possibly closer to the water than it is to the road.
all right.
I don't see any current erosion. It's just not established with vegetation.
And when did you see this? How recently?
I did a site visit last Wednesday or Thursday. So fairly recently.
Oh yeah, that yard's tiny. Is the yard much bigger than 12 by 15 feet?
A little bit. If I were to give a percentage of that side of the house with that yard, the plot that is not established might be, I don't know, maybe 10, actually not 10, maybe 35% not established.
Jenny, you had your hand up.
So we went on a site walk for this one. This is the one where they were redoing their driveway and putting a little wall up. So it's a very, very
Right.
small yard on that left
Yeah.
hand side, and it is sloped toward the water. So if it's around 17 feet, it's probably, I would say like maybe 2/3 of the yard. What do you think, Sophie?
So the other portion that I just remembered is a little bit in between that area of bare soil and the water's edge. There's rock in that odd gap. I don't know if anyone recalls. There's that gap where it's the concrete of some
Yeah.
sort. It's right in that area. So there's an impervious barrier between the water and that bare spot. And that bare concrete area takes up about maybe 8%, 10% of the rest of the yard too. So, but it is a very small yard.
Matt Grable, you have your hand raised.
Yeah, how you doing? I'm the owner of the house. So yeah, yes, there is a little bare spot that we were planning just to put more topsoil and more dirt and possibly even sod it. Obviously, we just haven't had the time or the resources after doing all the other work and everything else. Let's get that done. But again, I don't think it's, I wouldn't call it a 17 feet. It's probably 12 by 10 max. And the yard is tiered. So there's definitely no erosion that goes towards the lake at all.
Thank you, Matt. Sophie,
I did all this talking. I do have images to show that.
oh,
would help.
that'd be great. Yes.
Yeah, because it's so hard to explain that area. So this is a patch. The house is on the right side. You can see the water's edge here. This is that odd barrier between the water's edge and then the lawn area here.
That
So
also
there's
doesn't look like it's established vegetation. Am I understanding that photo right?
It's not. I can't remember if it was vegetated at one point. From
So
my
it's-
recollection, I don't believe it was.
Is this the area we're talking about? This one, this is the size of the issue? It's not the previous picture, correct?
This is the main picture I was talking about, that there is seed, but there's the soil is nutrient poor, and half of it, or at least portions of it, seemed like it was mulch and not soil itself. This was just last week. And then
Okay.
the picture here is referencing just over this edge here.
Okay, thank you. Do we usually approve these when there's we don't have established vegetation within the limit of work? Would seem unusual to me, but I'm looking for guidance. Okay, Rich, what are your thoughts?
We're right in a growing season. I would feel more comfortable if we held off on this one until it was vegetated, or at least a serious attempt had been made. And there was some mulch hay and things over the grass seed.
Thank you, Rich.
Excuse me.
Bob, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think we should hold off.
Okay. Jeff, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm with that. That needs to be soiled and seeded and probably mulched in order to
Okay.
go forward with this.
Okay. No, I just sampled because people were being shy about speaking up. If anybody else wants to throw an opinion in there, please do. If anybody wants to advocate in a different direction, I'd like to hear that too. Yeah, Mike?
I concur with my fellow commissioners. It is growing season, should happen very quickly. I think the applicant did indicate that he was going to do it. So if this helps to get him to start, I'm sure he'll get positive reinforcement very quickly with something, as seed. I'm not sure if he needs to sod everything. I think some seed and some, I guess, hay, is that something that keeps the seed down? It should help to germinate. We're gonna have one good day tomorrow of nice warm weather. I can't guarantee beyond that, but I concur with all the other discussion.
Thank you, Mike.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, Chris, you came off of mute. Do you want to
No,
throw an opinion now?
just the same. I.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so, and will the applicant need to reapply, or is this just as simple as him calling Sophie back and saying, hey, it's all growing and established now? Can it be as simple as that?
Yeah, I would think it's as simple as, I'm ready, come take a look again.
Okay, so then, what formal motion would I be looking for then is to, not approve it, right now, for the applicant to call us back, when he has.
In my humble opinion, you don't need a motion. We just go on to the next agenda item.
Okay, then that's perfect. That's what we'll do then. Thank you. We will go on to the next agenda item. 81 Maple Parkway. Sophie.
Yes, the applicant came to us a while ago, with some erosion issues. And it was requested that they put correct the silt fencing because it collapsed and there was some sedimentation going into the wetland. That's been corrected. There's now a double lining of silt fencing and the vegetation is established. It's a lot better now. So I would definitely approve that.
Okay. Do we have questions or comments from members of commission? Do we have a motion on this one?
I move to approve.
Second.
Okay, motion by Bob and a second by Chris. Roll call vote. Jeff,
Aye.
Mike,
Aye.
Jenny.
Aye.
Chris,
Aye.
Rich,
Aye.
Bob,
Aye.
and I for myself. Thank you. We will move along to 97 Cross Street. It's 97 Cross Street 2080. Oh, the DEP number is 208-1195. Sophie?
Yep, so for 97 Cross Street, I would approve this. They haven't done any work other than put down the straw wattles, which are quite old. We did have a talk about replacing certain areas of the straw wattles since they're deteriorated as we were stepping on them. But other than that, I would just
Do
approve
the
that.
straw wattles need to stay if the area is established?
So this one, I believe, had to be closed so they can reopen. They submitted an NOI that I was not able to get through. So they have to close an order of conditions to open an NOI because the time has
Oh,
lapsed.
okay. Okay.
So I'm sorry, that's why that's there.
Okay. It makes more sense to me now that we
Yes.
would be approving it, even though we needed.
Nothing's, yeah.
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 Okay. Thank you for that.
Yep.
If there are no questions or comments, I'm looking for a motion.
So moved.
Thank you, Rich.
Second.
Thank you, Jeff. Roll call vote, Bob. Maybe I did call Bob's name too fast.
Aye.
Rich,
Aye.
Chris,
Aye.
Jenny,
Aye.
Mike,
Aye.
Jeff,
Aye.
and I for myself to approve 97 Cross Street. Okay, that gets us through the certificates of compliance. We have a notice of project change for 441 Townsend Harbor Road. Do we have that applicant on the call?
Yep.
Okay, and just for the record, state your name and address.
Nick Eaton, 441 Townsend Harbor Road.
Okay. Do you want to summarize the changes in this application for us?
Yeah, I don't have the order of conditions or the plan right in front of me, but I believe Sophie should have that. So when this was originally done, I was planning on taking, I think it's like 6 or 7 trees. If you look, I think you'd have to maximize that. So it's all the way in the front where it says you got to go up on the page. So right in the corner where it says proposed maple tree, 2 of them.
Left-hand corner?
Yeah, in the front where it says 441 Townsend Harbor. In the front left corner.
Yeah, you're saying front,
Yes,
and
technically it's in the
sometimes
back.
that's how we're looking at it. It's the left upper corner there. Yeah, right now it's in the middle of the page.
Yeah. So
Okay.
there's probably like 7, I don't know what type of trees, but they're right there. I was gonna take those out, and the proposal was to put 2 more maples right there. So I'm not gonna take those out. They're still there.
Okay, and have you taken any trees out?
No,
No, you've not removed any trees as a part of this proposal?
no, everything was there when everything is how it was. The stumps, I was told that I didn't take the stumps out. I did have them grinded down, but there's all grass there.
Oh, okay. So if you didn't take trees down, why are there stumps that you were grinding?
Those were just, when I bought the house, all the stumps were just there.
Oh, okay. Okay. So pre-existing stumps.
Yeah. And then over near where the shed is, there was proposed 5 blueberry bushes and I believe a maple tree. So over in that specific corner, Jack from Dillis and Roy said there really isn't that much room over there to plant the 5 blueberry bushes. So I was gonna try to spread them out.
Okay.
So I guess what I'm on here for is instead of 2 maple trees that I would do 1 maple tree and 5 blueberry bushes. So over where the proposed blueberry bushes are, I kind of went a different direction. My oil tank used to be on the other side of the house, and now I went with propane. So they kind of need access to get to it, which is where those blueberry bushes would be. So I was going to take the blueberry bushes and put them over near the where the other 2 maple trees over on that side.
Okay. And were the blueberry bushes on your proposal as a replanting for the trees that were going to be removed, or other understory that was going to be removed?
It wasn't for the trees. It was the proposal was for the 3 maple trees and 5 blueberry bushes.
Okay. Okay, I don't have a problem with that. Do other commissioners want to ask questions? Okay, I'm not seeing that anybody wants to ask questions. I think I'm looking for a motion here.
A motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, who said second? I
Richard.
blinked. Richard. Okay, thanks, Rich. Okay, thank you. Roll call vote, Mike,
Aye.
Jeff,
Aye.
Jenny,
Aye.
Chris,
Aye.
Bob,
Aye.
Rich,
Aye.
and I for myself, to approve that change as proposed.
I just have one question. Do they have to be blueberry bushes?
What would you propose instead, Nick?
I'm kind of open to suggestions. I'd rather have some sort of other, maybe if there's like a colorful bush out there. I mean, I don't know what you guys would, maybe Rich could give a suggestion?
I mean, you can try clethra. Blueberry bushes actually aren't, I mean, they do have flowers in the spring and a nice red color in the fall.
Okay,
The plethora of spice bush is also quite lovely too,
Mhm.
and native. So
okay. Thank you.
thank you. I think we'll move along then. Okay, enforcement. We had a topic to discuss the fines process. This is Bob, were you gonna lead that? I think you had had a conversation with our town legal. Bob is on mute. Sophie, refresh my memory. Is that was that topic sponsored by Bob or by you?
Originally, I was supposed to attend that meeting with Bob, but I got caught up, so he's the point person for that.
That really was for Sophie's benefit. I didn't think that Sophie had ever done fines before. And so I set up a meeting with the town attorney so we could, talk us through the fine process. So Sophie wasn't able to make it, but there wasn't much to say. She writes out the tickets. If she can't hand deliver them, they can be mailed. And because I thought, there was the possibility, there was the potential that we could be issuing fines tonight for some non-compliance with an NOI down on Fire Road 12, and that it would be good, if we got some advice on that, for our new conservation administrator before we started such a process.
Thank you for trying to get that coordinated, Bob. I appreciate it. Okay, if there's nothing more in that discussion, let's move along to the enforcement actions. 141 Hemlock Drive. I think we've already got a continuation on that one. Has there been any progress or movement on 10 Mass Ave?
No, I haven't heard anything from them. I actually reached out to ask if they needed help, and I haven't gotten anything.
When you and I visited there, which is over a month ago, the applicant, I say with air quotes, the occupant of that commercial site said that they had done a submission. Have you seen a submission yet?
No, well, the submission wasn't to our department. Again, it was to DEP. So our department never got one. So the last meeting that they were present for, it was discussed that they need to connect with me and file correctly within 30 days, I believe. And they haven't reached out since.
Okay, so their 30 days, that was at the beginning of April, their 30 days is almost up then. Yeah. If I'm recalling correctly. So we'll discuss that further at the next meeting. Moving along, 205 Sunset Lane. Do you have any updates for us there?
So this one was kind of complicated and tricky. I had to go through all my files to kind of backtrack. and I was in communication with the applicant. They were stating that they had submitted an NOI and the commission had approved a order of conditions, or and there hasn't been an order of conditions issued, so they were waiting on that in order to do any work. However, I couldn't find an NOI or an order of conditions. I did only find the negative determination that was issued a couple years ago, I believe. And that determination was negative determination with contingent upon not having any permanent structures built, stairs down leading into the lake. So I was hoping that maybe the commission could clear things up, or people that have been part of the commission prior to me with the 205 Sunset Lane.
Yeah, they had a, Mike, you have your hand raised?
Yes, didn't the last, weren't they represented by Dillis and Roy at the last?
Yes, and that was in the fall.
Which means they must have a copy of the plan that was submitted and that we looked at. So I would think they would be a good resource to kind of catch Sophie up on what the latest was. I'm sure they would be glad to share.
I'm looking at the plan right now.
Okay.
You want to share that with us, Chris?
Yeah.
Yeah, and so they had an RDA for doing a project. The project went out of scope. And then as we were talking to them about the non-compliance issues, they submitted an NOI that we deliberated all on in the fall. I think it was probably September, October kind of timeframe when we came to a decision on the NOI.
Yeah, this was a fall. This file was time stamped in the fall.
Was that how did you find the plan?
I went to Google Drive and I searched for 205 Sunset, and I found this folder.
Oh, and you just have to blindly click around and
Yeah,
open things. That's
Yeah.
why nothing came,
yeah. So
nothing
I
was
just,
labeled.
well, I saw NOI under this folder was 205 Sunset, and so I said September 28th, and I saw NOI, so yeah, I clicked on it. Yeah, and I just got lucky, I guess. So
And Sophie, in the DocuSign archive, there's not an OOC issued for this.
No, well, now I question my searching skills, but I did not see one.
It sounded like you were doing research on the neighboring lot because we wouldn't allow them to put stairs down. We just allowed them to do a dock. So that's the property that's just adjacent to it, just south. So maybe you had the wrong address possibly, but I think that gentleman lived in Shirley and didn't have a house in Lunenburg, and there was some issues with the building department, and
Yeah,
I think
that
his name
rings a
was
bell,
Mike.
Jeff.
Yeah, but
there's also two names here. There's a Sunset Beers and a Sunset Welton for the same address. So maybe that's what.
yeah, that's the gentleman that's the neighbor to this property. Yeah. So essentially, this one they built that larger deck area that went over the lake that you saw in your document,
Mhm.
and they were supposed to reduce the size and have it done during the drawdown by March 15th.
Okay.
I was down there a couple days ago and it hasn't been touched, so.
No, the applicant actually sent a couple of rebuttals after the meeting to me and then also to the chair of the select board about the decision as well.
Madam Chair,
Yes, Bob.
in my mind, it was supposed to be done by March 15th. At this point, we should issue a notice of non-compliance.
I think that's a excellent is that a motion, Bob?
Turn it into one.
Yep.
I'll second it.
Okay, a motion by Bob to issue a notice of non-compliance and a second by, is that Mike?
Yes, it was.
And Sophie, you have your hand up?
Yeah, sorry to interrupt. I couldn't find the orders of conditions issued for that. They said they never received the issued orders of conditions.
Well, that's entirely possible, given the amount of, staff vacancies and everything we've had and the amount of turnover. That'd be a tragedy, but that's entirely possible. I think we should research that before we send them a notice of non-compliance.
Yes, that's why I wanted to make sure that that was clear.
Okay, then, Sophie, I think continue to research that and Bob, I don't know if you have the cycles to assist her with that, but that would be useful. I will also research that in my own inbox. I really thought we had done that by DocuSign.
I thought we had too, but I could be wrong. I'm gonna look in my DocuSign,
Yeah,
through my DocuSign emails.
and we'll look at this again next meeting. Okay, which one should we go to next, Sophie? Where do we have the next update? 1168 Mass Ave rear.
No update.
Okay.
The
40
40
Fire Road
12.
Okay.
Yes.
40 Fire Road 12.
They said they wouldn't attend.
They would not attend.
Yep, they were told that there may be consequences. However, they won't attend this meeting, so that they're not here.
And what is the issue with this property?
I believe this was the paving. They paved on town property next to, it might have been a pond. If you're facing the dead end, it was the left side.
It's next to Stump Cove of
Yes.
Lake Shirley.
Yeah, I just wanted to, for the record, be clear on what it was we were deliberating on. And my understanding is they paved without permission on property that wasn't theirs and within the 30-foot and maybe some portion of the pavement is also within the 30 and the 50-foot. I haven't actually taken a measurement device down there myself, but I have walked there. Is that the issue at hand?
That's correct.
And in addition, it appears as though they've been doing dumping within the 30, and they might have even done some filling within the 30 into the resource area.
And
but in my opinion, what we should be doing here is issuing a notice, and not once we find the email where we're sure that where the order of conditions was issued, that we should issue a notice of non-compliance because, I mean, if they've gone this far, it could easily be, you know, this is gonna end up in litigation and we should be on pretty solid ground.
Yes, further to what I understand, and prior to my time is that they had filed an NOI to remove the pavement and they had an
Yes.
order of conditions issued.
That's what we can research this by looking in the database, and there was an order of conditions. I remember doing this now. There is an order of conditions
Yes.
issued on this, because I looked it up in the NOI
Wetlands.
database.
Yeah. So right now they're in non-compliance with their order of conditions.
True that.
And this is something that would also have expired even with the default COVID extension.
Well, it's not that it's expired, but I mean, they haven't done what they said they would do, you know, in the NOI, which is remove the pavement.
Don't we have to, if they issue an NOI, and we don't specify any other timeline, don't they have until the expiration of the NOI to execute on it?
I don't know. That's a good question.
Yeah, if we didn't specify a be done by date, then they have the life of the NOI or the 3 years to do it.
That's unfortunate.
When was it issued?
I'm looking now. When did you say the hearing was? Somebody
This
had-
is, no, that was the previous one at 205 Sunset Lane. We're talking about 40 Fire Road 12 now.
Fire Road 12, yeah.
And I don't know when that one was done. I thought when you mentioned it the other day, Bob, that you said it was something like 2018 or 2019 or something like that.
Here, let me look at my sent
Their
email.
application was 5/9/2018.
So normal expiration would have been 2021.
Nope, that was for a dock.
Oh,
Sorry.
Maybe I missed some of this, but so we're talking about the west side of their property towards the Stump Cove side? They paved some
yeah,
areas?
but not
Okay.
but not their property, across the road from their property.
So do they own that property?
No.
No.
Oh, so then
So they paved it.
would an NOI even matter if it's not their property? That's
Yeah, what I understand, Jeff, and I'll let people correct me if I'm wrong, which I'm happy for them to do, is that they had encroached on town property. That by paving the town property there adjacent to Stump Cove and across from their property, and that once that came to light, and it, you know, in addition, there was a violation on top of it because it was within the 30 and the 50. They then issued or requested an NOI to remedy the situation. And that's the NOI that I think has not been executed on.
gotcha. Okay.
Sophie, you have your hand up. And you're still on mute.
Thank you. not to backtrack too much, but we're still in the enforcement area for 205 Sunset Lane. I'm in the data portal, and it is not entered in the DEP data portal. So it was not, we know as far as it was not submitted that way. The orders of conditions.
Okay.
I think
That's
that's
all.
because it might have been an RDA. If we're talking about two oh
If it
five.
was an RDA, only NOIs
was-
go out through the portal.
I know
It
that.
was originally approved under an RDA and then they filed an NOI and we might have said no to the NOI and that you have to redo it. So what was specified on the RDA?
If
No,
we-
actually, we approved the NOI, but constrained them to the
The deadline?
square footage that they had asked for in the NOI, and then required reseeding of some areas that was supposed to happen in November, and then required that they pull the dock out of the resource area before the before April 1st. And yeah, those are kind of burned into my memory because those specifically, those time limits were a concern to the applicant. They didn't understand why they had to do those things early when an NOI is supposed to last for 3 years.
Madam Chair, if we could go back for a minute to Fire Road 12.
Yes.
I'll read an email that I sent to you and Heather on March 7th that says, "Hi Heather, according to the DEP NOI database, Scott Benjamin and Thomas Roof filed an NOI to remove the pavement in the buffer zone on town Lunenburg owner unknown land on June 8th, 2021. The DEP number is 2081233. The order of conditions was issued on July 26, 2021. The commission has pictures of the violations, a plan prepared by Dillison Royd in the NOI application form. I have no evidence that the order of conditions was filed with the Registry of Deeds. I'm unaware of what follow-up occurred upon the issuance of the order of conditions. So,
Thank you
and
for digging that out, Bob. I
and-
thought
and-
you had
and-
done a complete review of it, but I was struggling to remember how you communicated that to me.
And, that's back in the bad old days when the commission had no access, to the orders of conditions after they were issued. So, I mean, I have no idea, where in the world, the order of conditions exists, unless maybe the DEP has it on file somewhere, because that's always been a defect that in my mind in our systems that we don't have anywhere a database that shows all of the orders of conditions and forms that that have been issued by the in the name of the commission.
So even without seeing those though, just by that date, did you say it was June 26th that it was issued or July 26th?
I said it was issued on July 26, 2021.
Then that would, unless there was something else specified, that order of condition is not expired until July 26th of 2024 this year, right?
Yeah, and it could be that there's even tolling from COVID that might extend it further, although I'm not sure of that. But there's someplace on the DEP website where you can go and look it up. Or somewhere on the state website, you can look it up.
Okay. So unless I'm mistaken, right now, we don't have any grounds to hold an enforcement action over them. Unless I'm misunderstanding something.
Yeah, I think we should do a little more research before we do something rash here that could result in litigation.
I agree. I agree. Mike, you had a comment?
I was just wondering if, in lieu of their last notification, could we send a reminder letter? Or would that violate saying we understand that, the July 26th is coming up, and
I think that's a great idea.
just a reminder?
I think that's a great idea.
Okay.
Maybe let's verify if they have a COVID extension on that as well. Should we?
I
And-
believe the extension ended June 15th, 2021.
Oh, okay. Good.
We're in the
And-
clear.
Yeah, then we're in the clear. Yeah, then I think the reminder is a good idea. So Sophie, I think that's an action for you.
And it could be that we might want to ask the town attorney to send that.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Rather than ask Sophie to send that.
Carries a little
Yeah.
bit more weight.
Carries more weight and
They're the property owner or represent the property owner.
they are the property owner. I'd be happy to draft such an email to Adam right now. To Heather requesting that she take in.
That's a great idea.
Because I can just piggyback on my prior email to Heather.
Yeah, that's a great idea. Thank you, Bob. Anybody concerned about that or want to advocate in a different direction?
Madam Chair, it might be worth just adding in there that they filed the they filed the notice of intent in response to a violation that they are still responsible for. And that if it's not taken care of at the expiration of the notice order of conditions, that fines will begin to accrue.
That's a great idea, Rich. I'm certain Bob will include that in the notes. I'm certain he's rapidly writing that down.
So long as I complete the email in the next 3 minutes, which I'm working on.
Yeah, when I was down there a couple of months ago, they're still actively using that. There's boats parked there, wood stored there, and there does appear to be a lot of trash and debris, not like little bitty paper, but junk, cans, big pieces of plastic, and dumping of grass clippings into the resource area along that bank, and that bank has now been reduced to a few feet in some areas. So it doesn't look like there is an intent to stop using that area or to be mindful of the wetland regulations. Okay, where should we go to next, Sophie? Where do we have the next update? I have 950 Chase Road. Have we had any updates there?
I did speak with the fire chief and it's not something that they're interested in burning down.
Okay, that's part of the encroachment dialogue, but I think this is
Oh.
actually on the
The last meeting where you weren't there, Jeff volunteered that he has a drone.
excellent. So then Jeff, do I just need to get you permission from an abutter to launch from their property? Or is
Yeah,
that already
that
in
would-
hand?
You could do it, I think, from the public way out in front. There's, like there's some businesses and stuff across the street. You could stop in
Yeah. That's what I was thinking. There's a business across the way that I think, I don't know, maybe real estate or something, that has a big empty, parcel. And the empty parcel is their parking lots in Lunenburg. The business actually is, you know, in, Townsend.
Yeah,
But,
I mean, I can fly at about 400 or 500 yards, keeping reception, so it takes really clear pictures.
yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's, well within that, yeah, that's well within that area. It doesn't, you don't have to go that far back. I don't think you'd be stretching it at all.
Okay.
I'll talk to you offline about that, about the permission piece of it.
Okay.
Excellent. Okay, 607 Reservoir Road. Do you have
This
any
is a,
update there?
sorry, this is a typo.
That is a typo? Okay. As in, it shouldn't be there, or the address is wrong, or the road is wrong?
It should not be there. That address is incorrect.
Okay. Typo. Okay, then that gets us through the list of, violations and enforcements. Move along to, new business. And, one of the items there is
Mayor, we have a
the,
couple of hands up.
okay, yes, see, thank you for that, Chris. Can't look down and look up at the same time, so I'll call on Ashley Braun first.
So yeah, so I saw my address pop on the agenda today
Yes.
at 6:07. So I was just, and I don't want to dive into the weeds here, but could someone summarize the enforcement process? So long story short, it's my neighbor next to me, 609, 611. He owns both properties. I'm just a general high level, like, what are the steps? Can somebody just tell me what the steps are?
Yeah, I'm like the, newest chair around the block. So Bob, do you want to summarize those steps, for Ashley?
Well, you know, our administrator will take and send them a, you know, an enforcement letter, telling them that they, you know, have to apply, for, you know, to put the dock in. And, that, they have to file probably an RDA if it's a removable dock. If it's not a removable, if it's gonna sit on the, if it's not a removable dock, they have to file an NOI. And that, you know, if they don't do it, then, you know, we could be issuing them, fines and so forth. And then we, take it from there, and hopefully, you know, they comply, come in, you know, apply to put the dock in. And then, you know, that would be advertised in the paper, we'd have a public hearing, and it would go from there.
Okay, so you would send him a letter basically asking him to follow the same rules that I did on my property.
That's correct.
Okay, and currently standing, if his dock is in the water, he can apply for the RDA and the NOI with it currently in, even though he wasn't approved for it.
Well, I mean, that would be up to the commission whether you wanted them to tell them you have to take the dock out to, you know, because there's no permission to put it in. But, you know, typically we wouldn't do that. You know,
Okay.
typically we would say, let's put it this way, we've never done that before. We've never
That's
done that.
Totally
before.
fair. We're
Yeah.
just trying to feel it out because obviously, the commission was kind enough to hear our case last week, and approve our RDA. Currently, even with that approved RDA, I can't put my dock in the water because of where his is currently. He also, doesn't really follow, the conservation rules, and I've brought up a couple of those, potential violations to Sophia as well. Like last fall, for example, he installed 2 fences within the 30-foot no touch. But again, like I've mentioned and Todd's mentioned, and it's been pointed out, I just, I care about the lake and the water and the surrounding areas and being respectful of people's property and being a good neighbor. And I don't want, I know the board does not want to get involved in any sort of civil dispute, so I totally agree with that. I just don't want people to just steamroll through things and not do what they're supposed to do. So I appreciate your clarification, and I'm rambling because it's late. We've all been on this meeting for a while, so thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Bob.
Ashley. And thank you, Bob. Amanda, do you have your hand up as well?
Yes, hi, this is Amanda Latour and my husband is also here, PJ Latour. We are the homeowners of 950 Chase Road.
Ah, okay. Yeah.
We just wanted to come on here because these issues that the town is kind of presenting to us, we were already existing when we bought the house. So the clearing, the conservation land, that land was already, it was cleared and maintained by the previous homeowners and the snowmobile committee. The snowmobilers would use that land and ride throughout the conservation. We've actually put a stop to that. And so we don't let the snowmobilers on our property or on the conservation through our property any longer. So the vegetation has actually grown in since we've owned the home. And the shed, the encroachment issue is not an encroachment issue because the shed has been there since probably 2001 is as far back as I could see. And it's fully on town property. It's not even on our property. It's fully on town property. It's not encroaching at all. I can
Okay.
share my screen if that's helpful.
Well, we were just talking about violations, and I think the concern with 950 Chase Road was clearing that is on town property that's at the Townsend side.
Yeah.
Right, the northern Townsend side, and that's not a snowmobile path. That's actually from satellite view, looked like it was maybe 50 by 75 foot clearing.
No, there's no clearing on the Townsend side, just on the Lunenburg side from the.
Yeah, it was
snowmobile.
towards, I'm sorry, I misunderstood. It was towards the Townsend side, but in
Yeah.
the Lunenburg large town forest. So it wasn't, the snowmobile path wasn't the issue. It was the clearing and the removal of vegetation on that
Yeah, so
northern side.
The images that I have, I'm actually looking at from mass.gov, satellite aerial images. And you can see all of that has been cleared, even further back has been cleared for many years. And it's
Why
starting
don't you
to
share
go
your
back.
page, your screen?
Are you able
We can
to
see your screen, yes.
Okay. So this right here, are you able to see the map?
Yes.
Okay, so this is the property line. And this is all conservation that has been cleared.
Okay.
This is from 2019, so we had just moved into the home.
Yeah. And that's a, it looks like that's a fall, or a early spring type of, the deciduous trees don't seem to have their vegetation.
So there's no this goes further back. So there's no vegetation in this area. That's more recent. No vegetation in this area, and this is.
And so, you guys have lived there through the summer seasons and whatnot, right? When did you purchase the property?
2018, the very end of 2018.
2018. Okay, and you're saying that there's no vegetation growing there now? And you're not just talking about trees, I think.
It's starting to grow in, and it's really not trees, it's just vegetation. It's starting to grow in, but in
Okay.
that top corner, you can see where the path is on that far corner, right where the town line is, that's where the snowmobiles would meet and go through the woods. So there would be, 10, 15 snowmobiles in that section of land right there. So that's growing in now, but it's taking a lot longer than the rest of it.
Okay, and you're saying there were snowmobilers there when there wasn't snow?
No, I'm just saying that's why it's a clearing. There's nothing there.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions for Amanda Boyle? And Amanda, to be clear, you and your family are not using that or clearing it. Rather, anybody can access town land, but you guys are not clearing it or actively using it for anything.
No, ma'am, we are not.
Okay. Okay, any other questions or comments for Amanda? Amanda, thank you for your comments tonight. Okay, I think that does clear us of the violations, enforcement actions, and hearings. We'll move along to new business. And Bob, you sponsored this topic on the beaver deceiver in the Cowdrey.
Yeah, I've been for Conservation Commission approval to hire Beaver Associates to put in a beaver deceiver at Cowdrey. I think the quote was for $3,300. I sent it to the commission earlier today, or it might have been yesterday. Because the beavers have flooded the access road to the the
Harold Harley Wildlife Viewing Area of the Cowdrey.
Thank you for helping me through my senior moment. That's a beautiful facility, and putting in the beaver deceiver is an essential first step, in the commission's goal to provide the public meaningful access to the Harold Harley Wildlife Viewing Place. I was hoping to get approval to hire Beaver Associates to do that work.
So moved.
I would second. Okay, we got Chris with a second and Rich with a first or primary motion. Roll call vote. Jeff,
Aye.
Mike,
I'll say aye, but can you also let me know what a beaver deceiver is?
Oh, I'm sorry. It's a beaver flow device. If you take and you look on like the 4th page, Mike, of the thing I sent today or yesterday,
Yeah.
whenever I sent it, there's
Yeah.
a diagram that shows exactly what it is. It's a pipe that takes, and the origin of it is deep under the water, surrounded by fence, so that the beavers don't sense any flow, and they don't take and react to it by building a dam around it. So they think they've built a dam, but they haven't, because it's still going through the pipe.
Very good. Aye.
And it's a win. It's a win because we don't want to hurt the beavers, but we don't want them flooding the road.
Right. I hear you. Thank you, Bob.
I would go further and say these guys at Beaver Management are really wonderful beaver advocates. I was out there with them, and they are really understand beavers and their habitat and their I want to say culture, but that's not it because they're not people. But they were great, and I know they're very active also with a lot of the state rescue, wildlife rescue, and rehabilitators too. And whenever they find a problem with one of their beaver deceivers, they actually react to that and redesign it to make it safer for beavers. I've been really impressed with them. Anyway, for what that's worth. So we got an eye
I-
from Jeff, and Mike, we got an eye from you. Bob, you were gonna add something?
I was just gonna say it was embarrassing to realize that we never paid them their $175 for consultation back in 2023.
Oh.
Because the authorization came just on Heather Manley's last day. And they sent us the W-9 and the payment never went through. So we also have to pay that, but that's been previously authorized
Okay,
back in 2023.
cool. So Mike, that was
Mi-
an eye for you.
That was an eye for me.
Jenny,
Aye.
Chris,
Aye.
Rich,
Aye.
Bob,
Aye.
an eye for myself. Bob, you sent me a couple of other topics that came up in the last 24 hours that were beyond just the title
Oh, so
searches.
if you could, because I have to leave soon, but if we could take up, we have there's been two people, Tom Allianz, I think his last name is, and Gary Lottie, who've been doing a lot of work out on at my direction, out on Table Rock, putting in some of the trails that we approved last year, the connecting trails, so that trails don't dead end at the property line. And they've also been using their own funds to put in little footbridges, really boardwalks across, boggy, wet areas. And, I had offered, I said, if you want to build a more substantial boardwalk, if you give me a location and, a materials list, I'll go to the commission and ask them for prior permission, to take and use our existing Mackey's purchase order thing to take and, buy the materials. And so this is a request to buy them. I think it's two 16-foot 4x4s, 8-foot 2x6s, and a box of sheet metal, not sheet metal, deck screws for them to construct a bridge across a stream at the eastern edge of the Table Rock.
So Bob, Eastern Edge in this area?
I'm sorry, I'm not. Let me.
Hang
go
on,
to the-
I was just trying to share and I fat thumbed it.
Over towards very close to the Christmas tree farm.
Yeah. Okay, so the Christmas tree farm is in here.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
up at it's up in the kind of like the northeast corner there, to the right of where it's got that little circle around the AT&T right away that needs improvement.
Yeah. This purple one
Yeah,
on
yeah.
the
There's
drawing.
right about where you have the cursor right now. There's a fairly
Yeah.
substantial stream that runs through there.
Yeah, I'm familiar with it.
And there's some muddy spots through there. And these guys have been really good about building little boardwalks, to bridge those places where you end up, with a lot of tire erosion and stuff like that. So
Yeah. Okay. Excellent.
and so I don't know if we need a motion or anything, but just if I'm looking for a sense of the committee, is it all right, to buy, or maybe we need a motion, be simpler, to authorize me to, buy these guys some materials for this bridge they want to construct. And I sent everybody pictures of the stream of some of the prior bridges they built out of their own pocket. Or I call them bridges, but they're really boardwalks, and a picture of the stream that they want to take and build this bridge / boardwalk across.
Yeah, I don't have any problem with it because we routinely, as far as I'm aware, fund projects like that for other volunteer groups and
Yeah,
whatnot.
I'd like to motion to approve the purchase for the materials for that bridge.
Thank you, Chris. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Jenny.
Bob, can I also say that I rode the new trail in Holman recently? It's beautiful. Great trail. Thank you so much.
Well, you're welcome. I'm glad you enjoyed it.
I walked it. I loved it too. It was awesome. And man, a lot of work. So thank you. Okay, so we have a motion, we have a second. Roll call vote. Jeff,
Aye.
Mike,
Aye.
Jenny,
Aye.
Chris,
Aye.
Rich,
Aye.
Bob,
Aye.
and I for myself.
And I just have one more update before I sign off. When I met with Adam Costa, we never heard from the people at 315 Lancaster Avenue. And so I asked him to send the pre-litigation letter, which he's going to do. Which is a letter that says, if you now, we've sent you two rather, two kind of stern letters. This is a third letter that says, now if you don't respond, we might take you to court. So that's where we're at.
Okay, thank you, Bob. Before you sign off, did you want to give the commission an update on title searches?
Oh, title searches. Not really. I did send a letter to Heather about a while ago about and I haven't heard back about the title, the two properties that would give us access to the rear lots over off of Page Street, behind Matt Allison's, behind Connie Allison's farm.
Yes.
Saying, like that they've been talking about perhaps putting detention bases on town property near there. And that I said, if you're thinking of putting detention bases on property that belongs to the conservation land, I suggest you first check with the town attorney about, can you put a detention basin on land that's under the care and control of the Conservation Commission for passive recreation and conservation purposes before you go any further. So I'm expecting that'll all come out in the wash the next time they get around to discussing Flat Hill Road at a selectmen's meeting.
And Bob, I also thought you wanted to discuss, and if you want to table it for another meeting, that's fine. We had previously approved funding the title searches for properties out of the Kelly fund.
Oh,
and you wanted to get that shifted over to timber rights.
Thank you, Mary, for having my back there. Yeah, we initially did $1,000 purchase order from the Kelly Fund to do title searches. And, I've been thinking about it. I really think we should, at some point in the future, we should have a draft policy on what Kelly funds are being used for. I really think we should try to do our best to preserve the Kelly Fund for major acquisitions and not fritter it away with, little nickel and dime stuff. And I'm advocating that we, and nothing's been charged to that purchase order yet, that we take and we open a new PO for the title searches from the Timber Rights Fund and not use the Kelly money for the Timber Rights Fund for the title searches.
I would agree with that strategy. It's aligned with my own thought.
So I would make a motion for the sake of brevity that we shift the title search funds, title search expenditures over to the Timber Rights Fund, and open a purchase order, initial purchase order of an amount of $1,000 from the Title Rights Fund to Mead, Tallerman, and Costa, or whatever their name is, to the town attorney for the purpose of title searches, and not use the Kelly, and close out the initial purchase order to the Kelly, to the.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Rich. Roll call vote. Jeff,
Aye.
Mike,
Aye.
Jenny,
Aye.
Chris,
Aye.
Rich,
Aye.
Bob,
Aye.
and I for myself. Thank you.
Mary, thank you very much. I'm gonna sign off now.
Thank you.
All right, bye-bye.
Yeah, and just by way of socializing a few other topics here. Last week, Bob and I met with Heather and Sophie, and Sophie is not going to be able to continue to support meetings that go after 10, so she will also be logging off at 10, even if our meetings continue. So we'll have to, as a commission, determine whether we can hold meetings or continue meetings after 10 as well. And I would be willing to certainly be interested in taking advice from the commissioners about that. I know I've talked to you in the past about meeting length and things we can do to try to keep meetings shorter. But this, I think, is a bit of a forcing function there. Any questions or comments? Okay. We will move along. I don't have any other business topics. And I do acknowledge that it's getting late. So there are no updates on open space and land use other than what we've already heard. Yeah, I'm going to jump around. Committee reports. There's certainly nothing happening in open space. Jenny, is there anything happening in stormwater that you need to socialize?
No updates from stormwater for this meeting.
Okay, and then with the Hollis Road residents, Mike, anything that you wanted to socialize?
Yes, we do have a lot, actually. I wanted to just remind everyone that back in January, when we replaced the water tank at 123 Hollis Road, we was replaced, and we got a 12-year warranty on the tank and 6-year warranty on the parts. And I went ahead and got a lifetime warranty on the tank, along with the 6-year warranty on the parts, and that's attached to the new hot water heater. So in case someone else is in charge of the commission, they can always refer to the warranty that's on the water tank at the building. The next thing I wanted to
Mike,
talk.
just real quickly, do we have a
Yes.
soft copy of that anywhere that's like searchable, or like Chris Ruth has a copy of it or anything like that, photo of it?
Chris Ruth has a copy of it, and he attached
Excellent.
the a soft copy to the actual hot water heater.
Okay,
All
excellent.
right. The next thing I want to bring up, it's a year past where we did the trim work on that particular building, and which was approved, and now we're at the following year where we have the request or the proposal to paint the remainder of the building, and the painter is willing to start. It comes with a $6,400 price tag, and I wasn't sure if we had approved both of those, because last year we approved the $4,800 for all the trim work that occurred, and now.
Well, why don't we just vote again and make it really clear?
Okay, sounds good. So I propose that we repaint the remainder of the Hollis Road building, which includes priming as well as 2 coats and installing any shingles that may be needed for this project. And it looks like he's willing to carve out May 15th as his start date. So Um. So
Okay, I think I'm looking for a motion then.
So move.
Thank you, Rich. And second by Chris. Roll call, Jeff,
Aye.
Mike,
Aye.
Jenny,
Aye.
Chris,
Aye.
Rich,
Aye.
and I for myself.
The next thing is we also have gotten the facilities department to agree to put our pollinator habitat sign that fell over the winter back into the ground for us.
Excellent.
And they hope to do that in the next, they're just getting their staff back. So he said, it'll happen in the next few days. I did get a request from Linda Hilson, excuse me, from the pollinator habitat. They're still working on trying to eradicate their jumping worms. I think I may have mentioned that last season. And they're looking to see if they can have us purchase some dry mustard, which is a culinary spice, but they need $80.32 worth of dry mustard. And I'm hoping, does the town have an Amazon account? Do you know, Mary?
I have no idea.
Okay. If not there, hopefully we can get it somewhere else where we do have an account, but I'd like to approve the purchase of some dry mustard for the eradication of the jumping worms, so the pollinator habitat can
Yeah, get rid of
continue their
them.
work. Get rid of
Yeah.
them.
Sophie, you had your hand raised?
Yeah. So recently I was told that we didn't have an Amazon account. And then even more recently, there was an email sent by Annie that there is an account existing. But I can share that whole email on how to go about doing that through the Amazon account, because it would be a first for our department, I think. So I'll share the email that has all the details in it, if that would be helpful.
That would be helpful.
Yeah, it would be helpful.
Does-
Thank you.
Does the facilities department have that access to that Amazon account?
I would assume so.
Okay.
Because
put
I
in-
know they have a bunch of accounts. So I believe so, but I'm not sure.
I did submit
That's
it
just a matter of an email to verify.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Sounds great.
So, Mike, how are these things at the pollinator habitat generally funded? Out of what account?
We usually go through the Haas account.
The Haas account. Okay. Okay. I just wanted to make certain that as we're voting, we're clear, because that's something that the office has kind of brought up before, that we're clear on what we're approving the funding to be, the budgets, where the budget support should come from.
I think we
Okay.
approved the gas for the lawn mowing through that Haas account last year, and this is more of the same.
Okay. Okay. So I think I'm looking for a motion, Mike, for $80 for the purchase of mustard to support eradication of jumping worms. Do I have a
So
motion?
moved.
Okay.
Yes.
Mike
So
has motioned.
Second.
Chris is seconded. We'll go roll call. Jeff,
Aye.
Mike,
Aye.
Jenny,
Aye.
Chris,
Aye.
Rich,
Aye.
I for myself, and I'm gonna buy some dried mustard myself because I got a problem.
Okay. That's all I have, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Mike. That was lovely and brief. I very much appreciate that. Do we have other comments from the commission? Any comments from members of the public? Okay, it is 9:48 PM and I am looking for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Thank you, Rich. Thank you, Jeff. Roll call vote, Jeff,
Aye.
Mike,
Aye.
Jenny,
Aye.
Chris,
Aye.
Rich,
Aye.
and I for myself. Thank you all.
Thank
Good night,
you.
everybody.
Good night.
Good night.